This is CBC Here and Now.
Today, we're here to announce hope.
A step in the right direction, the province's plan to bring nurses back, and how it hopes to keep them.
A new phase in the sale of Catholic properties in the Archdiocese of St. John's is underway. Here in Cape Broyle, the thought of losing their church is not going over well.
What's happening here? Today, going up for sale is a massive betrayal to me, to my family, and to this community.
I'm Terry Roberts. We'll have that story coming up.
Welcome to Here and Now. I'm Carolyn Stokes. The province has announced a strategy aimed at keeping nurses in the healthcare system, and that's where we start tonight. Last week, we introduced you to nurses on the front lines of a healthcare system in crisis. Many are considering quitting their permanent jobs for casual work or leaving the profession altogether. Rob Antle has the details.
There are over 600 current vacancies and 900 more nurses who will soon be eligible to retire. Those are big numbers, and today a big announcement, making a move towards a possible solution, at least in the short term.
We want to ensure that we provide the climate to ensure that we are able to not only retain nurses, but to recruit nurses in Newfoundland and Labrador.
Here's some of what was announced today to do just that. The incentives include retention bonuses, signing bonuses for casual registered nurses, and double rate overtime for vacation periods. Retired nurses who come back will have their licensing fee and liability insurance paid for. There are also plans for more mental health supports and exploring childcare options for people who don't work 9 to 5.
We all hear the stories every day. Nurses walking away, patients waiting for surgeries and procedures, backlogs in emergency departments. Our hope is that this will give hope to our members and to the public of Newfoundland and Labrador.
Yvette Coffey says the shortage didn't happen overnight and it's not going to be fixed overnight, but today marks a step in the right direction. The Premier agrees.
To echo Ms. Coffey's sentiment, this provides hope and optimism for the future that, again, nothing is going to change immediately overnight, but this is a recognition by the people of Newfoundland and Labrador and this government, the value that nurses bring to the system, to the table, to society.
Today's announcement got cautious support from both opposition parties.
It's good to see government finally sitting down with the groups and having that talk.
It seems that on the surface that the government is finally starting to listen to the needs of workers and to the people who represent them.
At this point, there are no details on what all these incentives might cost. That's expected to be released soon. Rob Antle, CBC News, St. John's.
Dozens of churches and other properties on the southern Avalon and Burin Peninsulas are gradually being listed by real estate agents. It's the next phase in the historic sell-off of Catholic properties and the latest step to raise money for abuse victims. But as our Terry Roberts reports, members of the faithful in one Southern Shore community are taking a very visible stand in an effort to save their church.
Welcome to Immaculate Conception in Cape Broyle. Catholics have been worshiping here since it opened in '47. Built by the people, symbolic of the deep Catholic roots in this community and all along this shore. But as locals and visitors gathered this week for reunions, a sobering reality also struck.
Today marks the beginning of Cape Broyle Come Home Year. It also marks the first day that our church is being put for sale by the Archdiocese.
Immaculate Conception was one of a half-dozen churches on the southern shore listed for sale on Monday. Looking for a sturdy, mid-20th century brick building featuring twin peaks, a new roof, and a breathtaking view of the harbor, this place can be yours for less than $200,000. This is the new reality for the Archdiocese, a once influential and revered institution. Its assets being unloaded in a bankruptcy-style fire sale to help pay for the sins of Christian brothers and other members of the clergy. But they're taking a stand in Cape Broyle. Not the type of posters you would expect to see in a church window. But these are not ordinary times. They don't have much money, and their numbers are small. But the maintenance committee wants a chance to buy the church.
This avenue of buying the church is completely new to us, and we're doing our best, but we are fully certain that we can, given the time, we can support and buy this church and pay for it. We just need the time.
They've even took to social media, pleading with potential buyers to stay away.
You're taking a church committee that was set up to pay the light bill, and now we're tasked with keeping our church. It's a big undertaking, but we're willing to do it. We have dedicated people here, and I think we could probably fill this church again. If the people know that it's the people running it.
To demonstrate her love for the church, Carolyn Hawkins put her artistic abilities to use. She's selling ornaments at the Come Home Year, is angry that this community landmark may soon fall into private hands.
What's happening here today, going up for sale, is a massive betrayal to me, to my family, and to this community.
The committee understands that victims should be compensated, but there's anger toward the Archdiocese. It's not forgotten that a priest known to be an abuser was sent here years ago, a scenario many blame for a mass exodus from the church. And now they say their questions are answered by a lawyer instead of the Archbishop.
So here we are 30, 40 years later, and it's a lack of respect that they don't allow their parishioners, their flock, to purchase these buildings.
Archbishop Peter Hunt has declined all of CBC's interview requests, but has acknowledged in a statement that this is a distressing time for Catholics. But that's little comfort to these people. They're walking an uncertain future, one they hope includes their beloved church. Terry Roberts, CBC News, Cape Royal.
An American woman has died as a result of a diving accident off Bell Island. It happened last Wednesday. Holyrood RCMP were called to a report of a woman in distress near the yacht club in Conception Bay South. Police say the woman, a 60-year-old from Maryland, was deceased when they arrived. The incident remains under investigation, but this is the third recent diving death in that area. A 60-year-old diver from Ontario died in early June, while a 56-year-old American man died there later that same month. Well, we have an update for drivers. The Bay d'Espoir Highway is closed once again due to a nearby forest fire. The province's forestry department says today's closure is due to high winds, flare-ups, and smoke. The department is asking people to use caution to leave the area or avoid it altogether. That forest fire began on July 24th after lightning moved through the area.
I'm here at Quidi Vidi Lake where the Royal St. John's Regatta will take place tomorrow, hopefully. And joining me now is Noelle Thomas-Kennel. She is the president of the Royal St. John's Regatta Committee, and there is a lot of pressure on your shoulders for tomorrow. So what are you looking for when you're making that call tomorrow morning at 6 a.m.?
Well, so our committee of 50 volunteers will actually come down around 5, quarter after 5, and the biggest thing is really eyes on the pond. So my vice president and captain of the course is in the boathouse now researching all of the possible weather that we could face for tomorrow. And what we do is we'll come down, have a look at the pond together, and then she will actually bring a recommendation to the committee of the go or no go. So what we'll do is we'll look at the wind conditions, obviously are a major factor, and if it's not safe to be out on the pond, that's our number one concern. For our vendors and our spectators and anybody who's down around the lake, we'll want to make sure it's not too hot. I guess luckily we aren't facing anything major for heat, extreme heat in the next few days. So really we would be looking at the wind conditions as our number one.
And so what are the perfect wind conditions? What are you looking at? I know, there are some areas that are sheltered. So what is that? How's that play into it?
Yeah, so Quidi Vidi is a little bit unique. A south wind would be perfect. Ultimately, a south wind would be blocked by the south side hills specifically for Quidi Vidi Lake. So south would be perfect. I do hear that it might shift a little bit southwest west. So what will happen in that case is we have to be careful of the gusts and the sustained wind. A west wind will come straight up the pond. So it's pretty rough conditions to try to row in a west wind if it's any bit high at all.
So how's it looking so far?
It's really hard to tell. Unfortunately, as with Newfoundland weather, there's no real straight answer with that one. It is looking a little bit windy. We do have some showers, it looks like, in the morning, which is not generally a factor, especially not for safety, but of course we want to consider the concessionaires and the general public as well.
And that's exactly it. It's the first year back post-pandemic, and back at full capacity. So what can people expect around the lake?
Yep, it's pretty much back to, I'll call it 2019 and pre-pandemic. There's a nice buzz around the lake here this evening, and we have some great musicians playing at the bandstand. Some of our food vendors are set up, so it's already starting to feel normal. Tomorrow it'll be in full swing, same as you're used to seeing.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much. This is Noelle Thomas-Kennel, the president of the Royal St. John's Regatta. And there's lots more from the lake tonight. Regatta roulette, changes to the long course as well. And of course, the weather. I'll have all of those details, more from Quidi Vidi Lake, coming up a little later.
Thanks, Ashley. Well, shifting now to the courts. Former high school teacher Noel Strapp has been granted bail. Strapp is awaiting appealing his conviction for sexually exploiting and sexually assaulting a teenage student he taught and coached. He now has to remain on good behavior and check in with police on a weekly basis. As part of his bail agreement, he also has to remain in the province and avoid contact with the victim and her family. A date has not yet been set to hear that appeal. Well, a mother is pushing back after the English school district decided to axe kindergarten French immersion in Marystown this fall. Now, the board says just 5 children registered, and that's not enough. Mother Kimberly Young suggests combining kindergarten and grade 1 French classes, but the district says it's considering the long-term implications. It says students tend to drop out of immersion before graduation, and that it's nearly impossible to provide programming for small groups of junior high and high schoolers. You can read more about this story on our website at cbc.ca/nl. Well, on this month in 1834, slavery was abolished in Canada. Last year, the federal government officially deemed August 1st to be Emancipation Day, and today, for the first time, that day was celebrated in this province with an event at the Rooms in St. John's.
Put your hands together!
Emancipation to me means liberation. It means being free from bondage, usually from societal constrictions, confinement. It's just being free, being uplifted.
I'm very happy that for the first time ever in Newfoundland and Labrador, we are having an emancipation celebration.
I'm a person of color. My ancestors, people, I've been around people, I've had experiences where I didn't feel so liberated, I didn't feel so free. So I feel like having events like this to remind us that, we need to constantly remember.
We're finding out year after year that there is Black history in Newfoundland. I mean, we learned that there was 19 slave ships built in Newfoundland. We learned about slave owners that left items in their will for their maid and their workers, their Black workers. We're learning a lot about Black history in Newfoundland. Not as much as we'd like to take away, but we're learning as much as we can. Nice. Woo! So it's really important to celebrate Emancipation Day here today to show the province that, yes, we're rooted in Black history and we're moving forward to the future.
In the future, I would like to see us not to think about those, to think about us in general, to all feel like we are living in harmony.
Like I want it to be that there's so much cohesiveness that it's not even a conversation. That our norm is not to have those conversations because we relate in a way that we don't have to have those conversations.
This is a time now to do the conversation. So in the future, we should now be like, it's no longer like in the back of our head, like she's different or he's different, I'm different. We should all just live a life
This is a message to you.
I think the biggest thing or the biggest takeaway from anything like this is just opening a conversation. I think that's the biggest thing. As long as we're a society that can talk to each other, we can, address things with each other, we can share our cultures and share our experiences, and people will listen. We need that kind of attention, we need that kind of togetherness in the community, and I think that is the biggest, best thing that could ever happen from this event.
Well, we're lakeside tonight, a beautiful evening by the lake. Tomorrow, we're all important forecast for tomorrow. It doesn't look too bad. There are some showers in the forecast. Also tracking some thunderstorms right now up across Labrador. I'll get into the full forecast coming up.
Okay, so let's head back to Kitty Vitty Lake and check in with Ashley. Ashley, a lot of people in St. John's are crossing their fingers that the forecast will deliver a holiday tomorrow. How's it looking?
Yeah, so when we were talking to Noelle a little bit earlier, she talked about the wind direction, and that's really what we're watching, or they're watching for tomorrow. It's just a forecast for me. But let's take a look at what I have up for the Regatta forecast for tomorrow. The winds do look like they're southerly, but like she mentioned, they're going to switch to southwesterlies and then eventually westerlies as a cold front moves through. So temperatures tomorrow are actually going to be pretty beautiful. Talked about 25 degrees, but those winds will be gusting upwards of about 30 to maybe even 35, or some models even showing about 40 kilometers per hour. So definitely looking at the chance of showers, but as the afternoon rolls through, we should be seeing some the clouds clear as the afternoon, around 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So definitely looking like the end of the day for the last races are looking pretty beautiful. Now, an absolutely gorgeous day out here today. 28 degrees was the afternoon high in St. John's, 29 Terra Nova, Bonavista 27 degrees, and a lot, even Twillingate. At one point today, Twillingate was in fact the warmest temperature across Canada, and then those temperatures for southeastern Labrador between 27 and 28 degrees as well. Nain, single digits, a very big difference in those temperatures, only 9 degrees for you today. You're definitely on the other side of this front that's moving through. Even a bit of humidity in the air. Certainly tomorrow will feel a lot more humid than today, with those humidex values likely in the mid 30s for tomorrow. But there's that area of low pressure now. It is sparking some thunderstorms for a good portion of the big land tonight, and will continue to do so. Expecting the thunderstorms to move through over the next couple of hours. Already seeing some storms north of Happy Valley Goose Bay, but there are some south of you as well, and you'll likely see that move through. Now, the severe thunderstorm watch that is in effect, the reason for that is we may see some stronger wind gusts with some of these storms, and they are capable of producing small hail. So definitely keep that in mind for tonight. Now, temperatures overnight tonight will be hovering between 7 and 9 degrees. So really, Nain, you're not going to move too much tonight. Otherwise, southeastern portions of Labrador will be sitting around 13 degrees. The temperatures not really fairly mild across the island, with those winds out of the southwest or south between 20 to 30 kilometers per hour, and then between 15 and 19 degrees. But again, those showers will move in as we head through the night tonight, and then some fog patches developing as well. So taking a look at the future tracker for tomorrow, showers for the northern peninsula, southeastern portions of Labrador, really all across the board, but the better chance of showers will be there. The rest will be very scattered in nature, and then through the afternoon as well, we should start to see some clearing potential. And then, like I said a little bit earlier, that forecast for the Avalon should clear out in around 5 or 6 o'clock in the afternoon. And then we're talking about the risk of some thunderstorms through portions of central, and you can see those develop there as we head into the afternoon and evening hours. And just to show you where those thunderstorm potential is, there's the risk map there. So anywhere in there, they'll be isolated if they do develop, but certainly the risk through the afternoon. Temperatures tomorrow, 25 degrees in St. John's, but that humidex value definitely going to be much higher than that, with those winds out of the south between 20 to 40 kilometers per hour. A little bit more cloud cover the further west you go, at least through the first half of the day, and then you will eventually see some sunshine. But Clarenville, you'll be hovering around 22 degrees. And then much warmer through central, so about 27 degrees through the day. Twillingate, your temperature will be a bit cooler than what you're seeing today, about 25, but still a beautiful summer day as far as I'm concerned. And then for the south coast, because you're in that onshore flow, at least for the eastern half of the south coast, you're still looking at the potential for some fog and drizzle through the day. Otherwise, with those winds out of the west, it should clear for extreme southwestern areas. So Port aux Basques, just some showers through the day. Corner Brook, same thing, 22 degrees. And then for the northern peninsula, your temperatures will be around 18, 19, even 20 degrees with that chance of showers for at least the morning hours, but then you should clear out as you head through the evening. Southeastern portions of Labrador, your winds will be a bit brisk in the morning out of the northwest, but then they should ease as the day goes on. Another beautiful day for Cartwright, a bit cooler though, 21 degrees. Sunshine for Happy Valley Goose Bay, and then Makkovik, you're going to be hovering around 19 degrees. Those winds for you along the coast out of the west, around 30 to 50 kilometers per hour. Lab City, you're hovering around 20 degrees. So that's a look at tomorrow's forecast. We will look ahead when I come back.
It's the greatest Tuesday in the world. It's Regatta Roulette, the Tuesday night before the Regatta.
Everyone plays Regatta Roulette. I've been playing it since I was 19 years old. For 4 years I worked in Cape to Mount Pearl, so it never worked out for me because they're always open on Regatta, so
okay.
yes, I was lost.
Took up a great passion for printmaking and really over the next 4 or 5 decades produced one of the most extraordinary bodies of printmaking by any Canadian artist.
And now that Toronto gallery is showing its support for David Blackwood. We take you inside the Art Gallery of Ontario to hear more about its connection to the late Newfoundland artist. The works of David Blackwood were recently celebrated in Toronto at the Art Gallery of Ontario. The Newfoundland artist had a strong relationship with the AGO. He went to school next door and was often inspired by its collections. Over his lifetime, Blackwood and his wife Anita donated an incredible 242 pieces to that gallery. CBC video producer Daryl Din was there recently and brings us this story.
Hi, I'm Julian Cox, Deputy Director and Chief Curator at the Art Gallery Ontario, the AGO, here in Toronto. And we're very proud and fortunate to have really the most important collection of the prints of David Blackwood anywhere in Canada. And he first came to the city of Toronto in 1959 when he registered at the Ontario College of Art and Design, now called OCAD, which is where he studied as an undergraduate. And he spent a lot of his time off classes in the galleries here at the AGO. One of the lovely little details that we know about David Blackwood's relationship to the AGO is that in the year 1959, when he first arrived in Toronto, he came into the gallery, which was then called the Art Gallery in Toronto, and was stunned by a painting by the Italian artist Tintoretto, Christ washing the disciples' feet. It's from the middle of the 16th century. It was acquired by the gallery in the year that he arrived, and he was deeply inspired by our collection here. And that's where his journey really, as a young, aspiring artist, began. And it was at OCAD that he took up a great passion for printmaking, and really over the next 4 or 5 decades produced one of the most extraordinary bodies of printmaking by any Canadian artist, and was an extraordinary student and mastered the various skills of printmaking, etching, intaglio, aquatint really very quickly, such that within the next 10 years or so he was recognized as one of the most promising graphic artists in Canada. Now here at the AGO, in addition to us having an extraordinary collection of his prints, we also have his papers and archives. So that means many dozens of sketchbooks, drawings, preparatory drawings. I'm standing here in front of one of David's etchings from 1979 called The Mama Inside, and it epitomizes what's so great about David Blackwood's printmaking. First of all, to note is the sheer scale of the print. It's really difficult to execute high quality etching and printmaking at this scale, and it's something that David Blackwood was exquisitely talented in doing. And you see that in the background, this extraordinarily beautiful sort of moonlit sky with the ocean just sort of burbling away in the background. But in the foreground here is the veil, or the sort of shadow over the face of the mama, and then an exquisitely textured, patterned environment or backdrop that the mama is printed against. So you have the sort of an edge here with a wallpaper that he's sitting in front of, and then the various different textures and details of his costume or his get-up. For us, it's been extraordinary to have a long-term relationship with David. In 2011, we produced this sort of beautiful exhibition and publication, Black Eyes, Prints of Newfoundland, which was done fully in collaboration with David. We also worked very closely with him to shape the archives that are part of our library and archives here. So what that means is that combined with the print collection and the archives, we have we are really the destination for the study and the appreciation of the art of David Blackwood. So deep commitments is to collect and preserve the work of Canada's most important artists, and David Blackwood truly fits into that category.
Just over a week ago, the International Union for the Conservation of Nature declared the monarch butterfly endangered. The monarchs have been in trouble for a while with the decline of milkweed across North America. One man in Wolfville is doing all he can do to save the monarchs, at least in his own backyard. Colleen Jones has that story.
Peter Vanderkluet has learned a lot about the monarch butterfly.
Oh, see the 2 dots on the hind wings?
I did.
That tells you it's a male. The females don't have those dots. Yeah, I love see the compound eye.
Monarchs might be plentiful now in the family's backyard garden, but a few years ago, noticing the declining population here, he became concerned. But how many of us move from concerned to citizen scientist? Peter did.
This is probably a couple days from turning into one of the pupae.
And from the pupae,
it becomes the butterfly.
He protects the monarch's eggs, one tiny egg at a time.
That little dot right there is an egg.
He heads to the mowed areas by the local Rails to Trails path. He looks for fallen leaves, holding the tiny eggs that would be easy pickings for the predators, spiders, ants, and birds. So when you went out to the area that was mowed, you were looking for things
those.
that small.
Yeah, it's like 2 by 2 millimeters or something.
He has become the Monarch's protector here in his own backyard, taking the eggs into his house for them to go through their various stages.
You can see the little tip of the
Okay.
curl kind
Yes.
of below the eyes there. Yeah. It's a proboscis that's curled up, and when they protrude. It's really cool. Like, I mean, I kind of got into it because, well, I like them for one thing, and they migrate, the fascination of it, like just the uniqueness of the species.
He takes notes to document the numbers since he began this project 3 years ago.
300 in the wild sightings. A lot of caterpillars, 470 when I count it. The chrysalis, where they came.
Is he making a difference? He likes to think so. He's also growing and transplanting milkweed, not just here in his garden, but in this new pollinator garden that volunteers have planted on Rails to Trails. When it's in the caterpillar stage, milkweed is the key ingredient for the Monarch. Milkweed has been wiped out through the years because of pesticides, urban development, and mowing. But Peter, whose father Sam was a highly regarded botanist at Acadia University, keeps growing more. In North America, the monarchs are endangered, but Peter Vanderkluet, on his watch, in his backyard, he's doing his best to make a difference.
Oh, that's sweet. It flew right onto your finger.
It did.
Flew right onto your finger.
Colleen Jones, CBC News, Wolfville.
Flew right onto your...
Coming up on Labrador Morning tomorrow, a resident of Sheshatshiu shares her experience dealing with the RCMP and the healthcare system while in the midst of a mental health crisis. And the St. John's Morning Show will have the latest on whether or not the 204th Regatta is a go for tomorrow, and the Wiggles. The popular children's group is coming to town this fall. They'll catch up with Anthony Field, aka the Blue Wiggle.
Well, if the Royal St. John's Regatta goes ahead tomorrow, history will be made. And that's because it's the first time in history that 4 women's crews will race the long course. And up until now, only men have been able to run that, or to row that distance. And 3 experienced rowers sat down with the morning show to chat about this historic first. Have a look.
Over the past years, we've always practiced the full distance of the course. And so, when we go down to the bottom of the pond and turn those buoys, thoughts cross our minds of, we can do this as well. We've got the strengths, we've got the endurance. It's simply a different race. The short course is a sprint race and the long course is more of an endurance race. So certainly when we've been rowing down there, we've wondered, can we do this? And it's been so wonderful that the Regatta Committee has supported that endeavor, and we've been able to row it this year. It's been a long time in the making, and certainly something that they've supported, and we're so glad that we've had the opportunity to do it.
I only started about 11 years ago, but yeah, I never understood why there would be two different distances for men and for women. It didn't make sense to me, but I think women have been fighting for this for a long time.
A big dream of mine, because I love this sport with all of my heart, and seeing the equality that we need start to happen is amazing. We have always been a very equality-minded crew. It's always been something that we've been big on. And so being a part of this and sharing this with the 3 other crews is really big for us.
It's been going on for, I would think around 20 years. People have talked about it. It's certainly been discussion points for the Regatta Committee and for the rowers, male and female, wanting some evolution. So it has been quite a number of years that this change has been, going forward. It was a part of the Regatta Committee's strategic plan to have this, males to row the shorter course and females to row the longer course. And I think that, that progression has finally happened this year with, change with, we've got a female president and vice president now on the Regatta Committee. And I think, it was a right time to really make that change. And I think that, it's great for our sport.
Youth come into this sport and they're being told that women can only row half the distance that males do. I mean, that's something that becomes deeply ingrained without even realizing it, It makes no sense to have ever had 2 different course lengths for, men and women. So it's super important to send that message that anyone can do any distance and you get to choose. The Regatta Committee is very entrenched in tradition and has been challenged a lot over the years with all of us rowers trying to, change makers really, trying to make it more current.
Yeah, last year was the first year that females actually finished the regatta, where they rowed the last race. Traditionally, that's been males that have rowed the final championship race. So it was nice to see that change. Nice to see this change this year, and I think there's more change to come in the future for us as rowers, and the Regatta Committee progresses through all this evolution.
Our coxswain actually brought up trying the long course to us at a brunch. And she was just like, hey, we rowing the long course or what? And we were all, chewing, had waffles in our mouths, and we were like, yeah. Strange. It's a very different kind of rowing, because the short course has always been a sprint. You give her up, you give her back. And I tried to do that the first time we ever went up to the full kegs, and I, died. I was like, oh, dear.
We did the same thing on the June day races, the come home day races. We really went out way too hard and kept the stroke rate really high and nearly died by the end of it. So it's been a season of trying to temper that need to sprint and just to chill out a little bit and find comfort there with the long course. And also, we're not familiar with the landmarks on the long course, so it's been a learning curve in that respect as well.
We talked about that this morning as we were preparing about how our race strategy is for tomorrow. And it's making sure that we have our markers and making sure that we don't go out too hard, because all the excitement for Regatta Day, which is going to be a great day, you want to speed up. But we got to really learn to pace ourselves tomorrow morning.
I started learning to row when I was in grade 5. And even then, I was short, tiny, no way would possibly row the full course. And I asked everyone at that boathouse, well, why can't I? Why aren't I allowed? And the answer has always been, you know, something along the lines of, well, that's just how it's always been. And I am very vocal about that not being a good enough reason, because I am a firm believer that girls can do absolutely anything they want to, and they shouldn't let anybody tell them otherwise.
Those are some very impressive athletes, and I can't wait to watch that race tomorrow.
Absolutely. They're definitely going to make history tomorrow if the regatta goes ahead. Thanks so much, Ashley. We'll check back with you shortly, and we'll talk about regatta roulette, and of course, you'll have the long-range forecast. Well, there's sure to be lots of treats down at the pond tonight, food trucks and concessions. And speaking of treats, our friends at CBC Radio's On the Go got into a strange debate recently about whether a certain culinary combo works well together. They enlisted the help of residents at Alderwood Retirement Center in Witless Bay to settle the score. Here's how it all played out.
Renee, tell me about this try something new thing that you guys do.
Oh, well, we've had a Try Something New club here at Alderwood for a few years. And so what we do is we bring in something that they've never, ever had before in their life. It gives them something to talk about. Whether they like it or don't like it, they're talking about it.
So I want to thank you for inviting us here to actually help us resolve whether French fries dipped in ice cream are any good or not. So you've got everything set up here, so thank you once again. I guess we should serve this and see what happens.
Yeah, let's give it. Listen, they'll let you know one way or the other. They won't hold back. Get ready for it. You'll know. You'll know what they think. I'll tell you that.
So your plate's clean. What was it like?
I love it.
Really?
Oh my.
I might not be in love with it, but it's eatable.
I don't like it. I don't know why I don't like it, but I don't like ice cream and French fry.
I think they're awful good.
Awful good?
Yeah.
Very tasty. I love it.
It's just because I'm sick for the first time.
All right, Ife, I think I'm going to have to register defeat because there's only one person here who says they don't like it. Everybody else either likes it or they're okay. See, Maddie over there is putting her hand up. Yeah, she's convinced she does not like it. We'll head back to the station, and whether I like it or not, I'll have to...
You have to try it out. Now you have no choice because
give it a whirl. No, that's true. Science has spoken.
Science has
The research has spoken.
We've done the research, and that's it. You have to try it.
We'll see what happens. The moment of truth is here. I have, I'm a complete cretin when it comes to the etiquette of fries and ice cream. You are a young pro. What do I need to know here? What am I aiming for?
You're aiming for a good ratio. So you want to take the perfect fry, right? You want to bend it.
Okay.
To make a little spoon. So after you bend it, you then go into the ice cream like a spoon, making sure the ratio is right.
It has a delicate finish of, obviously vanilla. But I find the chip gives it a kind of styrofoam cardboardy flavor, so it doesn't really work for me. I'll leave you with the microphone. Have at it.
No, try it again. Maybe you took the wrong chip. Maybe you took the wrong ratio. Come back. Bye. Come back. Come back. Anthony! I don't know what you're saying. It's so good.
Well, lots of ice cream, I'm sure, lakeside this evening. You're looking at a live shot of Kitty Vitty Lake. No races just yet, but the pre-party is getting underway with activities, music, and of course concessions for people walking around the pond. It's the perfect setting to play regatta roulette, that and George Street. Stay with us, more from the lake as well as Ashley's forecast just ahead.
Regatta roulette. Well, that is an awesome question for starters. It's Tuesday. It's always the day before regatta, which is always on a Wednesday, first Wednesday in August. So basically, you're spinning the wheel on whether you're going out Tuesday night and whether or not you're going to be hurting the next day on Wednesday, on regatta day. Is it going to be a holiday? Is it not going to be a holiday? For most people, they really don't care. They're going out Tuesday night regardless whether they got to work in the morning or not. George Street Festival is going on always the week before regatta, and so the George Street Festival always finishes up on regatta day. That's the last day. So I mean the whole week, and I mean this year especially, like we couldn't have asked for a better week, like weather-wise. What a streak we've had going on. Like it's unbelievable. And of course, obviously here again today, it continues. Yeah, like it's the crowds have been crazy down here.
I think that's their own decision for sure, but I think people are out for a good time, and hopefully they won't have to go to work tomorrow and there'll be a regatta.
And what are you looking forward to tonight? What have people got in store?
Same as always. Lots of energy, lots of fun, lots of singing and dancing and celebrating our great province and the regatta tomorrow. I technically play regatta roulette every year because I announced the first race down there. Are you all ready? So, and we always play tonight. So for many, many years. So I'm sort of always playing regatta roulette.
Oh, sorry. Too busy talking to people. Regatta roulette, it's a risky game, but obviously it's tradition.
It certainly is, Ashley. And of course, you and I will be working tomorrow, regatta or no regatta. But a few years back, Here Now's Jeremy Eaton dug into the history of the high-stakes game, and he started by seeking out the late beloved historian Larry Dowie.
According to the man behind the archives at the rooms, the tradition goes back a long, long way.
Oh, I think it's been on the go since the inception. I would say since 1818.
Today, the lake started to fill up with tents, booths, and lots of food trucks. But it's the only holiday where you have to wake up early to see if you can sleep in.
So it is the only holiday that I'm aware of in North America that is decided on by non-political figures. Not even the Premier, not the Prime Minister. No one has a shot at this except for the Regatta Committee. We're all lay people only interested in the success of the race.
As for the beloved term regatta roulette,
I've never actually seen it. I used the phrase, I coined the phrase or used the phrase about 10 years ago in one of those archival moments postings.
At this point, I needed an expert. Someone who knows the game better than most. I gotta go to George Street.
Tonight is the greatest Tuesday in the world. It's Regatta Roulette, the Tuesday night before the regatta. It's a celebration, what used to be the last night of George Street, but happily they've extended it by another day. But it traditionally was the last night of the George Street Festival, and people would come in earnest expecting to have the next day off. Just about every town in the world has a good Friday or Saturday. There are a few good towns kicking around that have good Sundays. You know, the odd Thursday is good here and there, but I think we might be the only place in the world that got an awesome Tuesday.
An awesome Tuesday for sure. Ashley, how risky will it be to play regatta roulette tonight? Can you give us like a gauge of the risk?
Yeah, so looking at the forecast and then talking to Noelle earlier today, I'm going with a hard yellow. Let's take a look at my regatta roulette forecast. I'd say we proceed with caution just in case. You may have to get up for work tomorrow, but the good news is that tonight, if you are out, regardless of whether you have to get up tomorrow, it's a beautiful evening. And as we head through the night, though, we are looking at those showers moving back in, and then tomorrow, again, like I said, that chance of showers through the first half of the day. Now, as we head into Thursday, there is a chance that we'll see some showers up across Labrador. That pretty much, I sound like a broken record for you. That's been your forecast for most of the summer, but it is going to continue like that for tomorrow as well. In fact, Thursday actually looks like the better day across the island with less of a chance of showers. We may see a few pop up here and there, but overall, it actually looks like a pretty beautiful day and a lot less wind as well through the afternoon on Thursday. Temperatures are going to be about 24 degrees in St. John's as you head towards Central. Those temperatures jumping a bit to about 27. And then for the Northern Peninsula, your temperatures will be a bit cooler, so only about 16 degrees through the day on for St. Anthony. And then for Labrador, generally temperatures somewhere between 18 to 23 degrees. And then also the humidity is going to stick around for the eastern half of the island through the day. Now, taking a look into Thursday evening, Friday, those showers again continuing across the big land. Along the south coast, we may see or will see some drizzle and some fog to start the day, and then things will be a bit unsettled through the afternoon on Friday. And then eventually it does look like those showers will work their way east through the day as well. Temperatures expected to be another hot one on Friday, 28 degrees in St. John, same thing through central, 26 to 28 really. And then the west coast looking a bit cooler, about 24 through the day. And then for the big land, sunshine for Happy Valley Goose Bay and about 21 degrees through the day. So taking a look at the long range forecast, few showers possible for Saturday, clearing skies though. By Sunday we'll go back up to about 27 degrees. And then for central Newfoundland, you're looking at your temperature somewhere between 24 and 28. Not a bad looking forecast. Bit of showers here and there Friday, and then again on Sunday. A little bit more cloud cover expected for western Newfoundland in that time frame. Saturday at this point looks absolutely beautiful and 25 degrees. Northern Labrador rather is looking at your temperatures between 21 and 23, a little cooler for western Labrador, but still hitting the 20 degree mark by Saturday. But unfortunately, again, the weekend looking a bit rainy. So take a look at our weather photo of the day today. A great shot, a sunset there. This is at Cobb's Pond, and Roger shared that great shot with us. And if you have any weather photos that you would like to share with us, send them to Facebook, Twitter, or email them to nlphotos@cbc.ca. So Carolyn, iffy forecast.
Okay, well, it looks like it's beautiful down there tonight. What's the crowd looking like down there? Are there very many people?
Actually, I was very happy, or very surprised I should say, with the amount of people down here. You know, food trucks are all set up. I can smell everything, and it's a great time for supper. And then behind me there's a band playing, and it sounds like some pretty good music. So it's great to come down here tonight for sure.
Nice place to go for a stroll tonight. Thank you so much, Ashley, and thanks to everyone at home for watching, and good luck with Russian roulette this evening. Regatta roulette. Regatta roulette. Wow.